All right, let's talk about the German Tier 7 ship, the München. And I'm not talking about the World War One München, SMS München. She's a fun boat, and everyone else will tell you otherwise. I like this boat. She's a light cruiser. The München is a German premium Tier 7 cruiser in the game, a light cruiser design developed prior to the outbreak of World War II. They were called the M cruisers, or Cruiser M. The ship was no different from the Königsberg class of cruiser and the Nürnberg in terms of her artillery armament and layout. Don't forget, both those boats have two turrets in the rear, AK, great for running away, and one in the front. This boat actually has two forward, two aft. She's a good boat. She has 150 millimeter guns, 8 in total. So, and we're playing one of my favorite operations, which is Narai. I'm in the healing circle because, like I said, light armor. As I go through at the end of this video, I do discuss the boat, but I think the bow is something like 16 millimeters or 14 millimeters. It's bad. Sorry, bit of cough there. She does have good AP, and she can citadel at distance, like that, which is great. And she is a fun boat. The best thing about this boat is she can actually fire every 5 seconds. As we sit here and we do some more damage, we'll talk a bit more about the M-class cruisers. We're a class of light cruisers planned but never built by Nazi Germany, the Kriegsmarine, before World War II. The ships are actually, in my opinion, designed amazingly functional. Like, they're just designed quite well. They did have some design flaws, but we'll get into that. The ships were designed off a commerce rating for the Atlantic Ocean. Design for the first 4 ships suffered from a number of problems. With like any other new class of boat, you're going to have problems. So the 5th and 6th ships were substantially redesigned. How's our Emerald friend doing there? Let's see how good this works. We get a citadel, and we do. The name of class is taken from the letter designating the first project unit as long as the ships were not named. They were referred to by letters assigned in the chronological order of their planned construction. The first planned unit would have been 13 German cruisers and was therefore listed as Cruiser M in the Navy documents. Had any of the ships been built, the class would have been named after the first complement unit, aka M class cruisers, München. Wonder how this Nicholas is going to do. Still testing some stuff out and firing AP. For whatever reason, sometimes my bane is a Nicholas, whether it's in operations, aka bots, or human beings. I hate that boat. And there's 3 of them in this game. The M class was intended to use for scouts for the commerce raiding squadrons envisioned under Plan Z of Nazi Germany. We all know how well that went. The ship's design process started in 1936. The ships were intended for long-range commerce raiding, as explained above. They had an improvement over previous designs, which suffered from insufficient range to be effective commerce raiders. Imagine that, not a merchant ship, but an actual cruiser designed to kill merchant ships, and it would have done it quite well. However, the requirements placed in the design, high maximum cruising speed, long-range, heavy armor sufficient to withstand 15-centimeter shells, all on a displacement of no more than 8,000 metric tons, were deemed impossible design staff in July of 1937. The don't ask me what that word, the Marine, that's the commander-in-chief of the Navy, German Navy, requested proposals from both the Navy design staff as well as private dockyards. None of the designs by the dockyards were practical, and so the official design, which only met some requirements, were chosen. Let me go some more cruisers. The boat's actually really good against cruisers. You can do, look at that. That's 5 citadels and a Dallas. You can do some severe damage to boats. If you're in a cruiser and you give this boat a broadside, it's going to hurt. Like that. The one thing about the München class or this boat is you, as I said, you'll see later on, the equipment selection, you really do have to choose speed. And as my crewmate is actually backing me up, pushing me further out, I'm telling this person in our chat, could you please stop touching me? That looks to be an HR moment happening. but the Missouri's coming out. So, like I said, I'm about to deal with a Tier 9 battleship in a Tier 7 boat. I am woefully outgunned, which is not good. But then I switch back to HE because she is a bit of a fire starter. Back up and then pick your angles and start shooting. You got to keep this boat maneuvering, and you got to keep it going back and forth. You got to throw the enemy off. I mean, the game is shooty boats, right? But back to history, during further development and design, serious flaws became apparent, which is a subject to this class, including weakness of both main battery and anti-aircraft armory. And one of the warships, the A is not bad, and I do talk about it a bit later. As you can tell in this game right now, I am not giving the Missouri because if she sees me, she's already turning her 16-inch guns. I am not sticking out like a sore thumb. Again, there's the propulsion. I can get behind the rocks pretty quick so she can't shoot me. Thank goodness. I'm firing a set of torpedoes just for the sake of firing a set of torpedoes. And I'm telling my team with the battleships up front, you so gotta kill this thing before it can see me. But back to her, the step arrangement, the deck armor wasted space, and therefore, in practical layout of the propulsion system was so problematic, both turbines in the same engine room, and therefore were vulnerable to displacing, and other was damaged. The crew spaces were also insufficient for long-range cruising. As a result, the design was heavily modified for the last two ships of the class, Q and R. The initial design borrowed from the contemporary British and French ships, Southampton class and the Lagosian class, respectively. The distribution of the M-class sidearm was most obvious influence in the Southampton class design. And as I come around, I've lost half my health. I'm going to need some healing hugs, as we say. But again, it's a good boat. It's fun to play. It's very lightweight, I get that, but it's actually very maneuverable. It can wreck cruisers and wreck DDs, except Nicholas's, which seemed to be the bane of my existence. Typically, I'm looking to the left here because the Dallas will pop out. Same class of ship as the Dallas before that. I just put 5 Citadels into in one shot. However, the Dallas is a fire start as well, so I'm just trying to poke some fun and see if I can get it. My teammates down south in a Boise, I'm willing to bet you that's Mrs. Lomax. The only player in the game I've ever met who doesn't have a competitive bone in her nature. Super nice person. She just loves to play the game and have fun with friends. Now we're getting some healing hugs, which is good. This is why I take Survivability Expert to actually help out. Every little bit counts. So we have a little bit of lull here in the operation as I go to repair. And our team and clan, we don't steal kills from each other, so we don't shoot our other transports. And as you know in this game, even though we all did very well, and I had a phenomenal game this match. There's only 6 of us, not 7, so it's kind of hard, kind of fun. We've done Nare with 4 people, but you have to really choose your boats. And my teammate just shot me. That would be Minitorp. Minitorp is my daughter, my 11-year-old daughter, who is now shooting me. That's awesome. But back to history, it's got a bit of a lull here. The contract for the M was designed or signed to Duschrik in Kiel under the construction number 263 Decibel November, followed at the Kriegsmarine in Wilhelm. I hope I got that right. My God, my German's terrible. As number 129 Decibel 0. The construction number 606 was assigned to the German, don't ask me, can't say that name, in Kiel. But in August 8, 1939, the contract was transferred to the Kriegsmarine Wurf. P was also signed to the German, oh my gosh, these German words are amazing. Under number 607.Q was assigned to the Schinau and Danzig. And the contract for R was awarded to the Duschrik. Only the keel for M and N were laid in 1938, but construction was halted on 19th and 21st September 1939, respectively. Both hulls were broken up on the stocks shortly thereafter, which is too bad because I think they would have been kind of cool boats. And yes, I just rammed the Atlanta, just have a little bit of fun. And here come the fires. Her HE does a good amount of damage too on any cruiser. You're going to get between 2,000 and 4,000 even on a bow like you just saw. It's quite nice. Again, I got knocked up a bit, but I just go back into the healing circles and get some more hugs. Now, to show you the power of how this boat works with multiple boats, everyone knows the Atlanta, Daka boat. She's got 14 barrels of 127mm 5-inch guns. Mini Torp and myself are about to obliterate this Dallas. And of course, one of our teammates, you know, the Colorado, takes the kill as we fire on it. I'd switch over to AP because this next shot is going to hurt. But our teammate, which I don't even see him, is he like completely across the map? It's a good team effort. So overall for World of Warships, I'm going to give this boat a good pass. I really do like this boat. It's a lot of fun. If you give the enemy a broadside, you're going to pay for it. Randoms, co-ops, operation doesn't matter, but if you play the boat smart, you'll do just fine. It's a very situational awareness boat. You'd use a lot of little maps, or sorry, mini maps on the right hand side. You got to really look at what's coming up. But you know what? I'm going to leave the rest of this match to the viewing pleasure of everybody. At the end of this, I actually do go through all the skills, flags, captain skills, and what I use and set up for the boat. I want to start doing that instead of talking about it more so, because I want to show and demonstrate so that way you can stop the video and see what I've got to make the boat work. I like the boat. I think it's fun. I think it's a Tier 7 version of the proverbial Dallas. Dallas is something that one of my clan members, Mr. Lomax, got me into. I hate you. Just kidding. It's a great boat. It's just addictive. And that's also the guy who can actually Pensacola, and that's a video I got coming out shortly of him Pensacoling and the Pepsi Cola. He's also the one who did the how to Leander. So anyway, keep watching, enjoy the rest of the show, and stick around to the very end. Thanks, everyone. Take care and stay safe. So worth it. All right, so let's talk about what the München has to offer. Everything from armor, survivability, artillery, torps, you name it. So let's go through this. So her armor is her greatest weakness. If you notice, she only has a 16 millimeter bow. Yeah, she's pretty thin. I mean, I think even tier 10 boats like the Mino have better armor. If they don't, they're dang near close. She has a pretty bad citadel. So when you look at this boat, especially her superstructure with 10 millimeter, she is a light cruiser. It also contributes to the history of the boat in that only 2 were laid down at the 6th and then canceled and scrapped. She was meant to be, like I said, a commerce raider, traveling upwards of 22,000 kilometers on a full tank of gas. So that's pretty impressive, even from a guy who's ex-Navy. Even if you want to angle, you can stop some shots, but just about everything can overpen you. That's why you see the game question and the replay. You got to be aggressive, but you got to be very firm. Survivability for here, I have it at 33,350, but I have some better captain skills, including survivability expert. She doesn't get a heal, so the more amount of hit points, the better. In playing in operations with those hit points, let's face it, you can do well in operations, like you just saw the replay. However, you can also get your butt handed to you regards to randoms and whatnot because you're not angling. This boat, as I said, is like going forward, going back, complete angling, and she is a fire starter. Her artillery is what I like the most. They got 150 millimeter guns. I've got her set up for a 10% fire chance, as you can see. So it's not bad. Her AP is actually quite good too. Her AP can actually sit it out quite nice in a maximum range of about 16.6 kilometers. She can fire far. So if you're getting behind an island, you're getting behind something, another person, using battleships as meat shields, I hate to say it, to help you out, yep. The reload time is fantastic. It's like a Dallas. It's 5 seconds. It's very good. Her turret time, again, I think I have greased the gears, and I'll go in a minute and find that out. If I don't want to go through the captain skills, but 17 seconds. So it's quite good. I like this boat. She is an HE boat and AP for broadside. Again, keep angling. Her torpedoes are basically defensive. I said they're 6 kilometer range at 64 knots, 2 tubes, 4 per side. I don't know what it is, but a lot of people seem to forget about German cruisers and battleships at the lower tiers. They do have torpedoes and they can't torp. People seem to forget about that. So it's like an Eisenhower, Shiny Horse, this boat, the Hipper, etc., etc. You can, the Prince-Eugen, you can torp quite well. They're good defensive torps, and I've used them for that fact. Her AA is not actually all that bad. I'm not going to get into it too much here, but she does have good AA, especially priority sector. She's no AA cruiser, but she can shoot stuff down, especially late in the match if you're still around and the carrier doesn't have full squadron, especially if you're up tier to, tier 10 battleships or tier 8 aircraft carriers. You can, it's okay. It's not great. Her maneuverability, again, she can do upwards with the speed flag that I have, but just shy of 38 knots, which is great. She has a good rudder shift. I know 8.3 seems a lot, but again, I've got some upgrades, and I'll go through it in a second. And I have concealment down to 9.4. I have everything I can do to make this boat hide. When you overextend, and everyone does, and you want to disengage, you want to be able to hide. So that's not bad. Her detectability in smoke is 4.9. It's that with some of the Tier 6 cruisers we talked about earlier, like the Mysore, the London, the Perth. It's really good that way. So if you can get into someone's smoke screen, aka destroyers, and you can light them up, you can sit there for a while. It's quite nice. Going through some of the equipments that I have, I always use main armament modification 1. I do use engine room protection. Again, thin. She has thin armor. You don't want to lose your engine. Your engine and your ability to maneuver and speed up and slow down is your greatest asset. For me personally, I always use aiming system modification. I don't use the rest of them. I mean, torpedoes, etc., etc. I don't bother, and I don't use the modification for the main battery traverse. It's not required in my opinion. And again, here we go with the actual propulsion modification. This is a real big help at 50% to help you accelerate and whatnot. Maneuverability might be a second one if you don't want to do that, but and I've got quite a few of them available. But I do use the actual propulsion modification. It does help a lot. When I go into exterior and for flags, right now I've got secondary batteries set up. I switch between this and the AA one. If I'm going to go from operations to randos, I'm going to flip them over. Secondaries, it's not really net required per se. Again, fire starter chances, I use the India X-ray flags. Again, fire starter Victor Lima. I try to reduce fires and reduce floods. Speed boost, because you can always use it. And of course, reloading of consumables. Number of foxtrots. And then I do actually use the Sierra Bravos to help get my hydroacoustic back up as much as possible. I do use all the economic flags. Didn't see that one. And I use as much of the special flags as I have as possible. And camouflage for me, it's just a straight on camouflage that I use for her. Because as you can see, I've got a lot of camos. Welcome to Santa Crates back in 2018. So straight on camo. It's about getting her concealment down, as I said here earlier. That's a good concealment. You're up there with Atlantas and with Flints. So again, light cruiser, good concealment. And I think Atlanta and Flint, I think, are 9.6 and change. So you're one of the lowest concealment. So it's good that way. The other thing I'm going to start going through is the captain skills. I'll go back to port. And this is what I use. Main turret traverse or grease the gears. Again, I use last stand because, like a destroyer, she has very thin armor and you can see several things getting knocked out. I know it says on this captain to use switch between shell types. It's not required. Priority sector, who's targeting me, I want to know. Again, trying to add extra 1% to give myself some more fire chance starters. I do use survivability expert. She has no heal, so it's important. And this is only a Tier 14 captain, yeah, so I use concealment as well. There's some things I might add to it, like be able to shoot him quicker, like adrenaline rush, but I haven't got there and I haven't built the captain up. But for me and for the München, that's what I use to have the games that I just had. All right, I hope that helps. Thanks, everyone. Everyone take care. Thanks for watching and stay safe. Bye.